Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole. Welcome to Yahoo Sports, UFC 274 on Saturday in Phoenix, and it is quite the show. We got two title fights on top of the card, another great lightweight fight on the main card. And in the main event, as he always seems to be, and we know it's going to be a great fight, is my next guest, Justin Gaethje. Justin will be challenging Charles Oliveira for the championship. And I guess I'll start with you, Justin, asking this. Charles was in the midst of a losing streak when you joined the UFC. I think he had lost 3 out of 4 when you came to the UFC. As a peer, did you watch him and did you ever look at him and say, hey, this is a guy I may have to fight somewhere down the road?
No, I would say I've never looked at any guy on the roster like that. I mean, I do not catch myself looking ahead too far. I never have. I don't think I ever will. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching Charles Oliveira since I was in college. This dude, I mean, it's inspiring what he's done and where he's at right now.
It's pretty amazing when you look at it, with you and him. I mean, you got to figure this is going to be a finish. I mean, you're a big finisher. He's got, I think it's 32 finishes, if I'm not mistaken, and 34 wins. I mean, it is pretty crazy. What do you see is his biggest threat? Is the fact that his jiu-jitsu is so good that it makes his striking that much better?
I don't know. I don't think that, I think the confidence that he's here with, I think the maturity, I think those are the factors that are different. I don't think, he's got great jiu-jitsu and he's really good at stand-up, but his takedowns aren't super effective. He falls into positions. He uses trips. It's not a lot of driving double legs. He had a nice double leg against Michael Chandler. That was impressive. But a lot of it's going to be him putting you against the fence and then working from that situation. It's not, closing the distance and driving through me. So, I mean, I think, he's going to have to get it to the ground. If not, it's going to look like Tony Ferguson. His face is going to look like Tony Ferguson's.
And that wasn't good, as we all remember that one.
It was good for me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I meant not good for Tony.
No.
I talked to Mike Chandler today, and he said something about you that I thought was interesting. He said when he was watching film on you, that he thought, hey, no problem, I'm going to be able to get this guy to the ground and take him down, easily. And he said when he got into the fight, he said you didn't present any openings to him, he goes, you were great at defending. It wasn't like fighting off the takedowns, but you just never presented any openings. And so I guess my question to you is that something you've always been that way, or is that something you've actively developed as you've progressed in this sport?
I mean, so when I was a great wrestler, I was a great wrestler because of my defensive wrestling. It was extremely hard to score on me and nobody can hold me down. And that's what I prided myself in. And once they were mentally and physically broken, I had my way. I can pin them. I could, I could toss, I could go body locks and start throwing them. I could blast double legs. I could hit some low ankle picks. Once they're mentally and physically broken, you could do whatever you want. So I stayed in position and I made sure they were exhausted, and then I turned it on. And that's it's been how I fight. But I mean, in my whole career, 25 fights, I've been taken down maybe once or twice.
Right, not much.
So if they think it's gonna be easy, then they should have a coach to slap them upside the head and be like, "What are you talking about? He's only been taken down twice in his career. What do you mean it's gonna be easy?"
Justin, I think MMA fighters as a whole are probably some of the mentally strongest people on the planet. So what is it that you do, or when do you know that you've broken one of them mentally? Because I can't imagine that's an easy process, or that many of them get broken. So what is the secret for you in that regard?
I mean, I guess it's something so in the heat of the moment, it's not something I would ever recognize, because the reason I love this sport and the reason I've been a fan of this sport is because it just takes one. No matter how broken or defeated they may appear to be, if they're still in the fight, they're still in the fight. So even in wrestling matches, I mean, I guess you could feel it physically, but then when you feel it physically, the danger's still there, so you can't come out of your shell and be like, oh, I got this, because that's when danger is the highest. Whenever they're about to quit, they're still going to give you something, because they are the mentally toughest guys in the world. They've been through the adversity once or twice, and sometimes they pull themselves up. But Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that I don't look at their eyes. I don't care what their eyes tell me. I want them to stop moving. Once they stop moving, it's over.
Now, this is your second crack at a championship. You fought Khabib in Khabib's final fight a couple of years ago. What do you think, having had that experience and gone through fighting for the title? I know you fought for the interim title, but that was the full title. What did that experience do that'll make you better this time around?
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is there's so many factors from that experience that are not here. I mean, if you're a creature of habit, you were so going to Abu Dhabi, the water wasn't the same, the food wasn't the same, the time wasn't the same. And so those are all excuses in a way, but now in this fight, I will be a creature of habit and I will get to go through the process that I'm comfortable with that brings me confidence going into those fights. And that's the biggest factor from this fight to that fight. Also, your why is everything. And Khabib's why that night with the passing of his father, with him having the knowledge that it was going to be his last fight, larger than life was his why. And, maybe Charles is there, but from what he's saying, he thinks he's infallible, and those are the best people to fight.
I spoke to him this morning, and he certainly, his confidence is not suffering. I've spoken to Charles over a 10 or 12 year period, and I've never seen his confidence like it is right now.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love that fact. And that not from this source, but just by his interviews. I mean, him saying that he knocked out Chandler with his left hand, and he doesn't even use his left hand. I mean, that's. And then he was saying that I was saying bullshit and then he came out and said that. I was like, that's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. I mean, people like us can knock people out with anything, And the biggest factor, which he's not gonna ever understand, is the only reason that shot was so effective is because Chandler beat his ass for one round, and then for some reason thought he was not in danger anymore.
Right.
And when they fight me, I bring the dog. I have every single one of these guys, and he embraced that the entire time. He never thought he wasn't in danger. And the reason why that left hand was so effective against Chandler is because he's a dumbass and thought he wasn't in danger anymore because he had already beat this guy for one round. And I think that was a huge mistake. And I certainly won't make that one.
Now, I want you talk about everything in your favor this time being, in the US and especially in Arizona, right? Where, you went to college and all that. But I wonder this, the fact that you're going to have probably a lot more friends and family at a fight than you normally would have. Does that impact you at all? You hear some people say that gets a distraction.
So when I fought Poirier, I embraced that it was at home, and now it doesn't matter. I'm going to isolate myself. I've been isolated for 3 months now in my house. I go work and I come home, I sleep and I eat and I rest my mind. But, I will talk, and in hindsight, it'll be the best experience in the world. But right now going in there, I mean, it doesn't matter what zip code it is, as long as it's in the same time zone, preferably. And it is. So that's all that matters.
I'll wrap it with this. I think it was Brendan Shaw that you got into it with a little bit. I'm not mistaken, but I know somebody you were debating on, your fighting style and what somebody had said about your fighting style. And you said there's a lot more to it than what he was giving you credit for. And I found that really interesting. And I mean, I know you have, arguably the best coach in the business helping you to get ready and everything. When you come up with a fight plan, I mean, do you have very specific things like 1, 2, 3 I need to accomplish in this fight? Or are you a guy that goes out there by feel and just say, hey, I want to see what the other guy does and I'll react to that?
Yeah, I trust that my reactions from A to B will be faster. I trust that the skills that my coach has showed me to move my feet into proper positions and create angles will be greater than anybody can create against me. And those are that's all I plan to. And then I trust in the intuition that I have gained through competition and through hard competition. I never did easy competition. Football was the easiest thing. Baseball is really easy, but football, is the most dangerous. But it's not hard to compete for 5 seconds at a time. When we get a 25-minute areas. I mean, that's when you're talking about a different kind
That
of
heart's going.
mental fortitude and mental capacity. And so, yeah, that's the biggest factors. But there has been a method to the madness from day one. And that's because I know and trust in my intuition, my ability to, get from point A to point B faster. And that's all it is. And now with the skills I've learned through my coach with my feet, yeah, I mean, if you break my fights down in frame by frame, how I watch them, I mean, I've after in the first round for about a minute and a half, Chandler had a chance, and a minute or two into the second round, it was over. And if it goes 5 rounds, he might die. And that's not, I don't even say that. I don't want that to happen. I never want to hurt somebody like that. But he was in a bad spot, and I was landing some seriously significant shots in that fight. He wasn't able to get it to the ground, and he was going to continue to take that damage. If he would have stayed in the leg kick, then, would have been maybe a different fight. Charles wants to kick me in the leg. That's probably his best option on the feet. But, yeah, I was
We won't charge you for that, Charles, that little scouting report.
Yeah, I mean, again, same as Chandler, I think he's going to take me down. I don't, every fight is so pure to me because I take it as it comes. I haven't thought about it. I put myself through the walk because I love that part. I listen to my songs on the way, and really those instances in my life are the most peaceful that I've ever been in my whole life.
Wow.
There's nothing to lose. My preparation is there. If I lose, I guarantee you, if they get lucky, knock me out in the first 20 seconds, 30 seconds, then so be it. That would suck, and I would be extremely disappointed. But if it goes past that, I created damage, and I gave max effort, and I can't ask more than that of myself.
I said that was the last question. Let me ask you one other thing because of what you said. I just wanted to follow up on it. A lot of MMA fighters are in great condition, but are not necessarily great athletes. You are very athletic, right? You succeeded at different things. And so I'm just curious, do you think you could have been a professional athlete in another sport? Like, had you tried baseball or had you tried something, do you think you were that good that if you put your mind to that instead of wrestling and then later you could have succeeded?
I think yes. However, there's a circumstance with those that come into play that I do not possess, and that is size, weight.
Right.
I think I could throw a football like 670 yards. I could
70 yards. You throw a football?
Yeah, I could throw. I was a quarterback in high school. I could throw a football, and if I wanted to do anything else, it was good. Growing up, I was like, I'm gonna be a professional quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's what I said, and then I just had to, change paths whenever MMA became an option for a sport. When I was a kid, this wasn't an option, for a living. You weren't a professional. These guys were professional athletes, but they weren't professional athletes in that regard. And now it's different. So, once this was an opportunity, and I started it, and once I understood how much I loved it, then it was game on.
Awesome. Well, that is Justin Gaethje. You can see him at UFC 274 and what's going to be a fantastic fight with Charles Oliveira for the lightweight championship. Justin, thank you so much and good luck, my friend.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
See you, brother.